Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So at last we are in. I'm so glad. So thank you so much for your patience. And I'm coming to the topic that is mathematical readiness. So when we talk about mathematical readiness, what we need to understand for the preschool children, immediately when we go for the numbers, because it is a thought that if we are going with the numbers, children will understand math. It doesn't happen that way, because we all know numbers they can rote, and they can rote till easily 20, 50, no issues. But the problem is conceptual understanding is not there. And as all of us, we know that national education policy is very clearly mentioning that children should be having conceptual understanding of the literacy as well as for the mathematics. So here what we are understanding is, before we go with the numbers, we need to do some readiness activities with the children. Now some activities I'll be showing, but what is very important is the students or children's psychological readiness. And here, if you remember, those who have read about Montessori, Montessori has talked about sensitive period. And what she said, every child is showing the sensitive period. And if as a teacher you understand the sensitive period, it means here you are understanding the child is ready for the numbers. So when the child is ready for the numbers, and that time if you are giving the numbers, very fast children are learning. So for that, it is very important that before we go to the number, we give them the complete idea of readiness, mathematical readiness. So question is, what is mathematical readiness? So mathematics is a way of describing the world, a way of thinking, knowing, and problem solving. Regardless of their prior knowledge and experience, children use their senses to construct knowledge of a mathematical concept. So whatever knowledge they have, children they have, that knowledge they use to construct the mathematical knowledge. This knowledge is what? Knowledge about spoons and cups and flowers and leaf and twigs. All these knowledge which children they are having, that knowledge they are bringing in a mathematics. So that is where we talk about the readiness. Through this knowledge, what happened? Children, they have interaction with their curiosity. All of us, we know, children are born curious, and this emotion they have throughout their life. So because they are curious, so they want to know more and more in early years. And that time, if we are understanding the curiosity of the child, what they want to know, and that time we are giving, then the children are learning very fast. So children are using the environment for the thinking. They have children, we need to develop children's mathematical knowledge. It means what? It means for the knowledge of mathematics, they need to have a language of mathematics. So when we talk about the readiness, the first thing what we need to understand is children need to have a language of mathematics. And once they are into the language of mathematics, mathematics will be very easy for them. We need to nurture their natural drive to explore and experiment. Because unless children, they have curiosity to learn, then only they will be doing exploration, and then they will be doing the experimentation. So that curiosity we need to make alive in children, so they can do experiments, and through experiments they will be learning. So mathematical readiness is in everyday life of children. The preschoolers use physical realities and symbol to represent their realities as they construct mathematical concept. So while learning mathematics, the child engage in abstract thinking, where he has to see the relationship between the objects and events to be able to match the skill. It means what? It means when children, they are engaged in the material, lot of things which are not concrete to them. Like if you say number 1 and number 5, they are not concrete to them. For them, it's just a graphic. So they, and if the size is the same, written 1 and 5, for them the two sizes are the same. So it is very hard for them to understand how can 1 is less than 5. That is a question they ask, and we don't have any answer for those kind of questions. So it's very important if they have the readiness concepts with them. And what are those concepts? They are very simple concepts: sorting, classification, comparing, ordering, seriation, and patterning. These are the concepts. If children they learn, then they are ready for the maths. If we talk about sorting, for sorting, it is very clear that when the children they are sorting, they can sort with the color, they can sort with the shapes, sizes, objects. Even there are so many schools, they are doing sorting activity like they are using rajma and a chana, and they mix together and then asking children to sort. So when they are doing sorting activity, there they are seeing these two things are different in their looks, in their characteristics, in their quality. So when they do sorting, that time they are seeing the quality wise, they are different. So there is a lot of differences which are there in things. So that differences children should be understanding. Early experiences of sorting, that's tying up, putting things back in the right place. Like when the children are keeping cups together and saucers together. So when they spoon together and forks together, that is also sorting. So when they are arranging their classroom and keeping all these things, or at home also, they are sorting like the clothes, all pants together, all shirts together. That is also sorting. So every day life we are doing sorting, and then children will understand every time the 4, wherever it is written house number 4, or maybe on a mobile it is number 4, or maybe it's a number 4 on the remote, it's the same number 4. So that understanding they get from the sorting. Second is a classification. When children they are doing classification, they are doing classification through sameness. So same, like all red together, all blue together. So this is the perceptual classification. So when they perceptual classification, so here they get understanding of the sameness is there in mathematics. So 4 plus 2 is also the same, and 2 plus 4 also the result will be the same. So there are certain places where the sameness is there. So this goes in a concept of a readiness, where they are understanding that there are certain things they are same. Red color is a red color, maybe it is in the car, maybe in the dress, maybe in the toy, anywhere the red color is there, that will be the red color, is the same always. So this same similarity going together, all these concepts, perceptual criteria, perceptual and conceptual criteria, and conceptual criteria, all these 3 criteria should be very clear to all the children. These are the mathematical concepts. Now, as a child, as I learns growing through classification, then when the numbers are introduced to children as an attribute of a group, it helps the child to compare 2 groups using numbers. It's very simple here. When 2 groups are there, one group is 4 plus 2, like this, 6 things, and another is 5 plus 1, like this, 6 things. So they understand if like this, the different type of classification also can give the same result. So that understanding they are getting from the classification. It is necessary to possess concept of a group before children start counting. So the grouping of like size wise grouping, shape wise grouping, color wise grouping. So the grouping concept should be there before children they know counting, because then they will understand the group. The child can visualize the way we have learned the group of red color and a blue color. So that kind of group, here there is a, here now in mathematics there are number of groups. So when the number of groups come to them, then they understand, oh, that is that classification. So they can visualize the number. And visualization is very important because numbers are too abstract for the children. So to visualize numbers, they have to do classification before that. So classification the form different classes by organizing objects and ideas in a useful categories. So even the ideas also can be classified. Third is a comparison, where the children, they learn mathematical language as a comparison. And in comparison, they are comparing the similar characteristic things. Like pencil, they are comparing small and a big. Shoe, they are comparing small and a big. Tree, they are comparing small and a big. So this kind of different type of comparison when the children they are making, that then this comparison is showing that there is something small and something big, something short and something tall. So this comparison of the language is given to the children as much as possible. So this comparison, once that is in their mind, then they will be able to do number comparison. So before we go to the number, with various objects, children should be doing comparison and thorough with the comparison. So they can immediately, when they see the two objects, they say, oh, this is, one is blue and one is red. So they are different. Color wise, they are different. Size wise, they are different. Shape wise, they are different. Characteristic wise, they are different. Idea wise, they are different. So this is the way children, then they will understand the abstract numbers. Numbers are also different, and numbers can be compared. That is also they understand. So here what we are understanding, I'll give you the example here. Example is, if we take two wooden blocks, we will be able to make comparative statement. One, we can say this block is heavier than the other. That is one comparison. In comparison, we can say this block is bigger than the other one. Third comparison, we can say this block is longer than the other one. So heavier, bigger, longer, all these things are the mathematical languages. And here in mathematics also, when we say heavy and light, big and small, long and short, all these things should be thorough with the children. Then we can say the child is ready for the numbers. When we compare objects, we make use of comparative degree. This helps children to think at an abstract level. So when they are comparing and seeing the things are heavy and light and experiencing, then only it is possible that they understand on an abstract level, oh, this is more and this is less. This group of number is more, this group are less. So then that abstract concept will be easy for the children. It is essential in comparison that the child have an understanding of the attributes and vocabulary used, such as longer, shorter, taller, smaller, heavier. So all these things should be thorough with the children. Comparing process serves as a foundation or base for ordering and measuring. So we will be later on seeing what is ordering and measuring. But for ordering and measuring, to understand, children should know first comparison. Children in preschool age, many times mix up attributes. While comparing objects, so teacher needs to plan concrete experiences with the real objects to help children in this. And all the preschool teachers, they know that it is very important that we should be either taking real objects or showing them the objects through flashcards or showing them through the pictures. It's very important that in front of the child, if the object is there, if child is seeing the big pencil and a small pencil and do the comparison, it will stay in child's mind, and then this knowledge will help them to understand mathematics later on. So after when the comparison is done, the child is thorough with the comparison, then only it is possible that if you give ordering, they can understand the ordering. Because in ordering, you can see for children, these are some beads you can see. In this slide, the numbers are given 1 to 9 and the beads are there. So 1 bead, 2, 3, 4, like this, they are there and they are in a order. So child can, for children, it is very difficult 1, 2, 3 to keep in order. That ordering, children, they don't understand. So we need to show first them concrete ordering. Through beads we have shown, through this pink tower we are showing the ordering, tall, short, 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 short. So that ordering we have shown. Then shades, different shades of violet color, different shades of green color, that also is a ordering. So when they know the ordering is different, then they understand that, oh, here 1 bead, so it's bigger. It's a, now it's 2 beads are more. 3 is a, this string is getting longer and longer, and when it is written 9, that is the longest. So children make an association with this. The number has an order. Number has a sequence. Like color has an order. Color has a sequence. Like blocks have an order. Big, small, 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 smaller, 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 smallest. So that is the order is there. So then the concept, the numbers have order. So when we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it means what? It has an order. And why it is an order? Because 2 is double time than 1. 3 is triple time than 1. Because 1 bead they are seeing, 2 they are seeing 2 beads, 3 they are seeing 3 beads, 4 they are seeing 4. So 4 times. So that four times is a very abstract concept. But when we are showing it with the beads, then it becomes a concrete concept. So this is what we need to understand here. So ordering by the young child means arranging objects or set of objects so as to have an origin or a direction and to reflect some rules. So here when we are showing them the ordering, we are telling them there are rules in mathematics. So rules are something like this. When 2 are written, then only we will be putting 2 beads only. That is the rule. So ordering take place according to the number of beads there. So that is the rule. So because child can ask, but 4 ke niche, why can't we put 2 beads only? So then we say in mathematics, there are certain rules, there are certain logic, we need to follow them. For example, if a child is asked to order 5 pencils of a different length from the longest to the shortest, the rule would be that each pencil after first must shorter than the other pencil. So that is the rule. So 1 bead, after that 2 beads, they should be of the same size. That's very important. Then the rule will be followed. So before we are understanding the whole concept, what we need to understand is the rule here is when we are doing ordering, the characteristics of the object should be the same. So ordering of the, like in an earlier slide, we have done ordering of the beads. The characteristics of all of them, they are blocks, all of them they are pink in color. All of them, only difference is their sizes. And because That is what is the ordering is all about. So this is how these material help the children to understand later on ordering. After ordering, what we are understanding is next is a seriation. When we are understanding the seriation, that is all, this is also a mathematic readiness where we are seeing things are in order. So ordering they are understood. Now in a seriation, when they do, there the understanding is you can see the red color and a blue color. So red color, the size of the red color and the size of the blue color is the same. So when it goes with the size discrimination, so here in a seriation, children are seeing in a rods size discrimination. And when we are showing them the cylindrical blocks, there they are learning the sphere discrimination. So the characteristic is here is the sphere discrimination. The first sphere is very small. Then there is a last sphere, and last one is a largest sphere. So the discrimination is here in the rods, the color wise discrimination, and here is the sphere. So length children are understanding. So what understanding here is taking the red and the red are same size, but with the red and a blue, if it is there, is double the size of the red. Maybe the color is red and blue, but lengthwise it is double the size. Then third rod, if you see red, blue and red. So 3 times. So like this, seriation has a characteristics, and that characteristic is it is giving us discrimination of the length, discrimination of the diameter. So conceptually children, they are understanding the diameter as well as the length through seriation. So seriation is an essential concept for the learning numbers. Seriation is the ability to compare, arrange object along a particular dimensions. Before children order number in a series, at an abstract level, the concept of ordering needs to be acquired with the concrete objects. Seriation activities will include quantity, size, and quality. All the 3 should be there. I'll go back to my earlier slide. Here the quantity you can see. The quality here is red and blue, and one is a different length, another is a different diameter. So quality is different. So quantity, quality, even the shape, size, everything can be seriate. So this is what seriation is different than the ordering. Next is the patterning. The patterning is another very important concept of the math readiness, because nowadays people are talking about coding, and coding used to be in engineering, where they used to make a computer language. That time they used to do coding, and now this coding has come to the preschool also, because in a preschool what we understood, in a coding there is a logical patterning. And our children, they were doing patterning otherwise also. So why can't we give the logic to the pattern? So children will be able to do coding. And one side, if they do coding, other side the picture will come out. That is all about coding. So patterning is of the object, like you can have a stick, horizontal stick, then vertical stick, then horizontal stick, then the vertical stick. Then next is what? That is a pattern. Then 2 stick vertical, 1 horizontal, 2 vertical, 1 horizontal. Next is what? That is another pattern. 1 flower, 1 leaf, 1 flower, 1 leaf. Next is what? That is another pattern. So 1 dog, 1 flower, 1 dog, 1 flower. Next is what? So like this, if patterning children understand, they understand there is a logic. So next is what, which comes, it comes from the logic. So whatever we have understood, from that next comes. So next is not coming automatically. It comes with the logic. So what we are understanding here, if I have to translate it with the numbers, children, they understand 1, 2, 1, 2, then what? Then 1 will come. Because 1 after that 2 has come, then 1, then 2 has come. So this is the pattern. So unless we give lot of activities of readiness, children will not be able to do mathematics. Now next, this is the first part of readiness. Second part of readiness, I'm talking about the attributes. Now we need to understand this attribute concept with the concept of earlier what we have learned: sorting, ordering, seriation, classification, patterning. With that concept, we are understanding the concept of attributes. Because if you remember in the last class, I told you, when last I have taken the mathematics readiness, I told you that children, they need to have a first concept of color, concept of position, shape, size, roundedness. All these concept needs to be there. So in the beginning, children, they do sorting of only one characteristic. That is color, red color and blue color. They can sort only red and blue color. Then when children go to the junior KG, they can sort two attributes. There they can do blue color and triangle, and red color and circle. So like this, if you can mix, so shape and color, these are two attributes, and they can do sorting of two attributes. So like this, if you give them the concept of attributes, 2, 3, and senior KG, 3 attributes they can do. So when they understand these 3 attributes and do the sorting of 3 attributes, lot of logical mind they are using, and this logical mind is helping them in mathematics later on. Comparative words. What are those comparative words, and how these comparative words are used in mathematics? So words that describe people. So with people, we always say, her nose is bigger than, like we say, Shalini's nose is bigger than Rahul's nose. So what we have done? Comparison. Or we say, Rahul is taller than Ramesh. What we did? Comparison. So this Bombay is very crowded than Nasik. What we did? Comparison. So what I'm trying to say is, we do comparison of places, comparison of people, comparison of objects, and sometimes we use 2 attributes, sometimes we use 3 attributes for comparison also. Like we say, this plant is very big and it has a big fruits. So but this plant is small and it has no fruits. So that is also comparison. So here 2 attributes you can use, 3 attributes you can use. So like this, in the preschool, normally the children, they say, I have all blocks, because they are in a self-centered. So all blocks are mine and Harita has none. So that is also comparison. So this language is helping them later on in mathematics. Concrete representation, that is what we have said. It's very important that if we show them the concrete representation, like if they are having the picture, so they can arrange the 4 or 5 pictures if you are giving them, and children, they are arranging the pictures in a when we are giving them the puzzle. So 3-piece puzzle, 4-piece puzzle, when the child is arranging the puzzle, that is what is a concrete representation. So when they arrange the puzzle in the right form, so they understand that if the pieces are very different, if you join them, then it becomes one. So if the pieces are different, like 3, 4 numbers are different, when we join them together, then it becomes 13 or 25 or 26. So join them together is different, and the pieces are different, then it is different. So this concrete representation of object, if it is there, this object is a concrete for them, then number is an abstract, So that abstract number understanding comes from the concrete thoughts. And last is data. This is another thing very interesting is children, we teach them mathematical language. Even mathematical language is a graph. So in the preschool, children are understanding graph, how they are understanding. We can make 5 groups and ask each group go out and bring five things from the ground, from the outdoor. And whatever 5 things they are bringing, ask them to put in a row. So you can put one, start from here, starting line is yours, and then they are putting their row. And then ask children to stand around, and then you can ask simple question to them. Which row is longer? Which row is shorter? Don't you think children will be able to give answer? So you can write in the chat box, they will be able to give answer or they will not be able to give answer. They will be able to give answer. So this is what we need to do. This kind of activities are very, very important for us to do with the children. Then geometric shapes. By the time children are ready to go to the first standard, they should be having knowledge, complete knowledge of triangle, rectangle, square, and circle. Because this will help them to do geometry later on. Then graph we have talked about. Then matching, pairing, similarity. This also can be readiness activity which they can do in a preschool. When we do all these activities, then we should be coming with the numerals. Then we can say numerals. What is numerals? Numerals are written symbols. But these written symbols represent something. Now, for children, it's a symbol. It represents something. The teacher is saying it represents 2, it represents 5, if it represents 7. Teacher has said, so this numeral represents this number. So this is how children, and then they understand, oh, so this is bigger. Oh, 7 is bigger than a 5 because they have done comparison earlier. So they can now relate whatever they have done earlier. So then this knowing number becomes so easy. And this helps them later on to know the numbers conceptually. So to have conceptual understanding, to make this number, now what we are doing? Now we are making this number concrete. Because this was abstract in the earlier, if you have not done any readiness exercise, then it is abstract to the child. But if you have done a lot of readiness activity, then these numbers become concrete in mind of the child. So he is giving the meaning to the numbers. And once your child is giving meaning to the numbers, it means child has understood mathematics. He understood the numbers. He understood the meaning of numbers. When you say, go and bring 13 stones, and he's bringing exactly 13 stones, it means child knows the numbers. It means child is able to do one-to-one correspondence. Otherwise, I've seen in first standard, third standard, it is very difficult for children to make one-to-one correspondence. 5 chairs, bring 5 chairs. It is sometimes 3, sometimes 6, but 5 is coming 5 chairs. It's not happening because they don't have the concept of one-to-one correspondence. So these are the ways the concept of number goes, readiness goes. And that's the reason we say mathematics in early years. If children, they need to experience separation and continuous. So when they know separation, it means one-to-one correspondence. Continuous, it means comparison. Separation means counting number. Continuous, it means measuring. Measuring weight, measuring height. All these are measuring is a continuous. So like this, what we are understanding here is for mathematics in early years, the experience of material, separation and continuous, experience of space, shape and size. Then children should have an experience of matching and measuring. Then experience of number, words and symbols. Like this if goes, then we can say children, they understand mathematics very well. So like this, if you give the concept of maths to the children, then the children will not have any problem in understanding the maths. I will like to say here, maybe for preschool teachers to know the 5 ways to understand mathematics. The first is mathematics has to collaborate. It means what? Whenever you are giving them sorting activity, don't give individual child. Always give in 2 or 3 group and let 3 children sit together and do sorting. So this is one thing is very important, and this later on also in the school readiness I will be talking about. It's very important that children should be collaborating when they are doing mathematics, because alone doing children is very frustrating. Second is mathematics has to be concrete. You cannot have classroom where no objects, no material, no equipment, and doing mathematics. It doesn't happen. You can have Tarabai Modak, Anutai Wagh. What they did, they all used stones, leaf, twigs, sticks, all these things they have used to teach mathematics to the children. So have to have objects. That's very, very important to give them the concrete, real experience, because math can be tangible and children, they understand only when it is tangible. Third is mathematics has to be comprehensive. So it's very important that every child should be able to comprehend. They should know why they are learning a new math concept. So psychologically also they should be ready to receive multisensory and relevant instruction on it and demonstrate mastery by successfully completing several diverse application of it. So it's very important that children should be able to comprehend math, and very important is comprehend mathematical language. Next is mathematics has to be connected. It has always a linkages. So teachers, what we need to understand, math is an experience. From the teacher's perspective, this means that every class math project should involve every child. From the child's perspective, it means that math concept and application should connect to students' lives outside as well as inside the classroom. So here, I just want to ask you, can you write in the chat box, in your environment, what are the objects you can use to connect the mathematics? How the mathematics can be connected? So write in the chat box, what are the objects you can use to connect the mathematics, to make a linkages in mathematics? How to make connection? That is what I want to ask you. How you can make a connection? Whatever the experience the children they are having, it's very important that the child should be able to connect with a concrete object and a number. That connection is important. So when you talk about number, immediately child should be able to link it with the concrete object. And once the child is able to make linkages, then we can say child is ready for the mathematics. So mathematics has to be cavorating. It means it should be playful. Children should have fun with the maths. They should have a lot of activities with the maths, enjoyable activities with the maths. Then only we can say that mathematics can be a funful activity. And once you add fun with the math, then children will not have problem with the mathematics, which Nilima has told in her introductory remark, that mathematics is always very tough to most of the children. So if we are making it as a funful activity, enjoyable activity, make it a concrete activity, then only we can say children, for them, mathematics is very easy. So is it clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
clear?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Chat box.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you think it is possible to do readiness activity in the classroom? Can you do readiness activity in the classroom? Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is very interesting. Yes, ma'am. Great. Yes. Okay, great. Good. So it shows that okay, Anusha is also writing yes, ma'am. I can see even Ruta is writing yes, ma'am. So do this kind of activities much more. Yes, ma'am. We always. Okay, great. It's interesting. Definitely feel, ma'am, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun if you're doing concrete with the children. Okay. So if you have any question, you can ask question in the chat box, and maybe I will request Parag sir to tell anybody who can at the end write all the questions. So at the end, I will be answering questions which you are asking. So any question which is coming in your mind, please write in the chat box.
Yeah, you can also write,
so
ma'am, they can also write their email ID or WhatsApp number so that I can share that things with them. I can share whatever they want further there. So they can write their WhatsApp number or email ID as well. Thank you. Over to you, Rita, ma'am.
Yeah, SK has written, learning by doing is the key mantra. Yes, unless learning by doing, we are doing with the objects. That's very important. So just body is not enough. Body is also giving the mathematics, but it's not enough, because we need to have size, shapes, color, all these different material, weight, different, because mathematics is talking about even like Piaget has talked about heavy and light, where he has an experiment. If you have a iron ball and a cotton, the same weight, child is able to, what child will be saying, which is more, cotton is more or an iron ball is more? And Piaget said every child said cotton is more than the iron ball. So this is how the way children perceive, that way they learn. So it's very important for all of us to understand that children, when they are learning mathematics, that time with the concrete objects, if they do, they will be learning faster. Okay, now I have another half an hour, which I will be devoting to school readiness. Can all of you see school readiness slide?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Great. So this time technology is supporting. So when we talk about school readiness, see, most of the time we are worried for one transition, which is home to school. And that transition is one of the very important transition in child's life when the children are living home and coming to the school. So that is a mostly home's responsibility to make child ready for the school. And for that, we have a lot of programs which we are doing in the parental training program, where we are training parents how they can make this transition smooth. But school readiness, from preschool to go to the primary school, this readiness is in our hand. So it's our responsibility to make child ready to go to school. And if you see, even NEP is also mentioning school readiness. In most of the books of early childhood education, we talk about reading, writing, and math readiness. From the beginning, we are talking about 3 hours. Nobody is talking about school readiness, which is one of the very, very important component of early childhood education. So how child is ready to go to school? With that question, I'm starting very, very elementary thing which we need to understand, because early childhood period of life is a very critical period in child's life. It is ideal for the learning new skills, because this time the mind is very sharp. This period is referred to as the period of plasticity, as the impressions brain is making. So whatever children they are learning, all these learning are becoming a part of the brain. And brain has the capacity to have a neuron connectivity as much as possible. So every new activity is connecting the neuron in the brain, and that is the reason children, they learn a lot in their early years. Early years is the foundation for the children's cognitive, personal, social, and physical development. So when we talk about readiness, so here when we talk about the objective of preschool education is physical, motor, socio-emotional, cognitive, and language development. All these things we say. But when we talk about school readiness, there we say for school readiness, this is the foundation that children's physical development, social, emotional, cognitive development should take place. It means child should be developed. Child should not be that raw the way he has come from home to school. Now all these domains of development should develop so much that emotionally child is able to regulate his emotion, socially child is able to show social skills, so he should be accepted by the other children, adjusted in a new environment. So language wise, whatever thinking he has, he should put his thinking in a proper language. So all these things he should be knowing. So that's the reason preschool, nursery, junior KG, senior KG, we say this is a time for the developmental domains to develop. But at the end, it develops so much that when the child is going to the primary school, these developmental domains help them to be a great adjusted citizen of the country. That is what we want. Early childhood education helps children become more independent and confident, and is usually gained in preschool. So our child should be so confident, and it should not be happening. We are asking something and child is replying something. No. By senior KG, what we ask, be able to comprehend what we are saying, and then child should be able to respond to us. That kind of language should be developed. The primary goal of preschool program is to improve the learning and development of young children by imparting the knowledge of color and shape, number and letters, how to look at the book. So child should be knowing even to respect the book, to take care of the book, to keep book nicely, to hold book nicely, able to sit in a proper position when he is learning from the book. So you can give even some time of the how child sit properly sitting when the child is reading. What should be his posture when he is reading? So, and when he is writing, that time also, what should be the posture? So we should be paying this much attention also, and the book should be respected. The paper should be not rubbed so that it is making 3, 4, 5 pieces. No. So that also should be is a part of the preschool program. How to get along with the classmates. Many times it happens in the preschool, one of the child who is just running everywhere and not sitting, neither sitting for the activity, nor sitting for the storytelling, even not sitting for the snack time. And it is okay with the teacher. So what happened? This child from the beginning developed in such a way where he doesn't follow anybody. It becomes his personality to do everything the way he wants. So it is really in our hand to this time develop child in such a way where he can get along with his classmates. So when he will be going to other school, there he will be meeting another different children. There he should be able to adjust. So those skills we should be giving to the children. How to live by the rules in school. Because here it's okay in the preschool, 10 minutes early, 10 minutes late. It's not a responsibility of the child because it's a responsibility of the parents to draw, parents to pick. So everything goes the way child, but there it's a rule. So how to follow the rules, how to pass the information, that also the child should be learning. I have given this information to the child. Now pass this information exactly the same way to another teacher. Child is able to do it. That much language he is able to comprehend. Because he should be knowing all these things. Passing information he should be doing perfectly. Then we can say the child is ready to go to school. Gradually build their readiness for the increasingly rigorous challenges of the school. Because you see, pre-primary is a non-formal environment. Primary is a formal environment. So it's a lot of challenge to the children to shift from the non-formal to the formal environment. Thanks to NEP, NEP has given us in between first and second standard. So that can be semi-formal now. So before children are going to the formal environment. So NEP is helping us when we have not helped our children to go to the primary school in the formal environment. NEP is now helping us so our children can go into the formal environment. Janus has said in 2007, and it has come from the research paper that children's readiness for school has been conceptualized as the characteristics and the skills children should possess in order to be able to learn in school. So the skills which require to be in school, those skills should, for those skills, the seed should be sown in preschool. That is what Janus is saying. So if seeds are there, then when the child is going to the primary school, it is easy for that seed to change into the plant. And there the tree will be, or plant will be bloom. So this is very important, this quote which Janus has said. So what is skill readiness? Now I am coming to the school readiness. Means each child enters school ready to engage. So every child is ready to engage in and benefit from learning experiences. I have heard many of my university students, they said, in school, madam, I have never gone for the PT or the sports. I used to tell the PT teacher, I'm having stomach ache. And I've never done PT. So whose loss is this? This is not PT teacher's loss. It's not the school loss. It's the child's loss. I've never done drawing. My drawing sheet used to be always empty. I used to hide my drawing sheets. Whose loss? So school readiness means each child enters school ready to engage in and benefit from the learning experiences which children possess, the skills, knowledge, and attitude necessary for success in school. So attitude, children should have a knowledge like all readiness, reading, writing, math readiness, creative activity, and indoor, outdoor games. All these things should be part of the child, that knowledge children should be having, and with the concepts. Then skills. Children should be writing by themselves. Children should be eating by themselves. Children should be wearing clothes by themselves, buttoning by themselves, zipping by themselves. So all these things they are doing by themselves. They are an independent individual. Children should be carrying their school bag by themselves. I don't like parents when they're carrying their school bag and a water bottle. You show your care by loving to the children, not by picking the child's bag. Let child be independent as a student. Let child has a responsibility. So that is the kind of skills children should be having. And the attitude. Children should have an attitude of togetherness. Attitude of a cooperation is very, very important. Attitude to have a social skills, to be polite. All these attitudes we have to inculcate it in children, then only school readiness is possible. So if children, they have a knowledge, skill, and attitude necessary for success in school and later learning in life, that best promote the child's success. So you see, teachers, this preschool child who is with us, what we need to understand, this child, whatever we are teaching, whatever the seed we are sowing, this will be with this child throughout his life. Even in adulthood, it will reflect in his personality. So we need to really work on this wholeheartedly. School readiness is the state of early development that enables an individual child to successfully enter into the primary school. It's very, very simple. So they need to go to the primary school very easily. How important is it for the future success? It includes physical abilities like gross and finer motor development. A positive adaptation to school requires such skills at an ability to take turn and to cooperate with each other. The key component of learning include enthusiasm. We need to make our child enthusiastic, curious, persistent to do tasks. Maybe the task is taking longer time, but if child is persistently doing the task, that's a good. As well as his temperament and cultural pattern. We need to make them a good citizen of the country. We don't want citizens who are really harming themselves, society, and country. So this is also a responsibility of preschool teacher in school readiness, that they should be a good citizen. So school readiness is an attainment of core competencies that influence child's preparation for formal school learning. And these core competencies, which are attainment of core competencies, write down somewhere in your diary in a big letters, because this is same letters are written in new education policy. The preschool child should be attain core competencies. What are those competencies? Now we are learning the competencies. The most important competence is communication and collaboration. Children should, small group, they should be sitting together and they should be talking to each other. Put one stick here. Where? Yes, you are doing it right. That kind of communication should take place. That's the right language. They are understanding each other, and then with a cooperative play, they are communicating. So small groups in pair. Children, when they are in a small group, then they can talk to each other much more and they enjoy their activity. Second is the critical thinking. Now this child is curious. We have learned square. Square has 4 sides, but this shape has 5 sides. So which shape is this? This is the question which child is asking. But I have seen we have not taught to our children ask questions. So this is one thing we need to give the competency that children should ask questions, and then their critical thinking will start. So critical thinking is another component. The problem solving. Always don't be ready as a teacher to solve child's problem. Immediately we rush and solve their problem. Let the children do by themselves. Oh, this piece is not fitting well here. I should try another. So let them try. Let them do by themselves. We need to make them learner. That is what is the requirement of early years. Creativity and imagination. So let the child, what are you making? I'm making a floating boat. So let them be curious. Let them be creative. Let them have imagination. For creativity and imagination, the best thing is tell children stories, fairy tales, stories of legends. The more stories you are telling, the imagination of child is going high, and then they will be in a position to show their imagination in their creative activities. Digital literacy. See, Corona has proven that digital literacy is very, very important. All of us, we are learning today because of Mr. Parag has given us a digital platform. If he would not have given us this platform, I would not have taught you, you would not have learned, and we would not have interacted. So we need to, from the beginning, we need to train our children for the digital literacy. Then learning to learn. This is another component where we need to make children learn. They need to learn how to learn. So this is another competency. Before they go to school, they should be learning. If they have a problem, how they can solve the problem, where they can go. They can go to the library to find the solution. They can go to the senior teacher to find a solution. They can ask the parents to find a solution. Where they can go to find the solution, that question they should be answering to themselves, because solution is everywhere. But if they have not learned to find the solution, they will be always with the problems. Then self-efficacy. This is also a very, very important competency where the children, they should be having confidence in themselves that I can do it. I'm able to do it. I've done it. So this is, yes, I did it. Even small things, if you are giving the snacks to the child and the child is finishing and the plate is empty, you see the smile on child's face. Yes, I finished it. My plate is clean. That is also self-efficacy. So it's very important that children, what they start should be ending with and getting the pleasure of completion. Yes, I can do it. That is the self-efficacy. So these are the competencies. Again, I'm repeating: communication and collaboration, critical thinking, problem solving, creativity and imagination, citizenship, digital literacy, learning to learn, and self-efficacy. These competencies children should be having before they go to the school. So this all is a school readiness. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, way reading, writing, and math is important. Similar way, it's very important that children are with us only for 3 hours. In 3 hours, the expectations from the early childhood educator, maybe like Mr. Parag, like me, like Mrs. Moon, Mrs. Bangera Madam, all of us, we have a lot of expectations. But in 3 hours to do with these expectations are difficult. So what we can do, we can involve the parents. We can involve the families. Now, Corona time, what is happening? We are involving the family with the children. We are giving the task to the children and children are doing with the family. So this kind of task only we need to give. We don't have to give a homework like writing ABCD. Your homework can be, children, this is a homework. After dinner, children with parents go outside for a walk. And next day you can ask what you did when you were walking with the parents, what you were talking about. So these are the competencies which children, they will learn. And once children are in your hand only till 6-7 years. Once they go to the school, then they get friends. Then friends becomes more important than all of us. I will like to share with you when my child was 5-year-old, and I took her to the Fantasy Lane in Mumbai. And we went 9 o'clock, and till 5 o'clock she went from one ride to another ride to another ride to another ride. Whole day we spent. And 5 o'clock we came back. And after we came back, my child asked me first question. And I was dead tired. But she asked me first question, can I go down and play? So I was asking to myself what we did the whole day. So for me, with her, was not a play. Play start when the children, they are with their own age group. So this is what we need to understand. So we just need to give skills and competencies to the children. Academics, they can really take care if we are training them to learn by themselves. Give them the responsibility of their own learning. Then 11th and 12th, we will not have any problem. But from the beginning, if you are spoon feeding to the children, as a parent at home and as a teacher in the classroom, holding the hand and making children write, this is the way, if you are rearing the children, then this child will be dependent on parents and teacher all the time in their life. So we need to decide what kind of children we want. And if the child is ready to go to school, then you see when he goes to school, how beautifully he is adjusted. And once he is adjusted, he will like to take part in each and every activity of the school. Then you don't have to push. He will take initiative to do the activities. And those kind of children we want in our country. So this is the advantage. There are certain tools which are available to measure that child is ready to go to school or not. And these are the tools which are quantitative and qualitative, both in nature. So and there are many researchers have done on this. Even Anganwadi, many Anganwadis also we have done the research. The children of Anganwadi, they are ready to go to school or not. So in Akluj district, 470 Anganwadis, we have done the research on school readiness. So what I'm trying to tell you is a very, very important component of early childhood education. Teachers, you need to really work very hard if you decided to come in this profession. This is not a profession of just 3 hours spending time with children. This is a profession in which you have to put your head, heart, and hand. This is what Steiner has said. So we need to develop children's head, heart, and hand, and collaboration with the children. We also need to develop our head, heart, and hand to work with children. So child will be ready to go to school. Okay, so thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask, or maybe I can ask Mr. Parag. If he has identified some questions, he can ask, or he can ask somebody else to ask the question.
Hi, ma'am. This is Pooja here. Ma'am, my son asked me one question which I was really not able to answer. Actually, we all stay in a joint family. I was with my in-laws, and due to some emergency, I have come to stay with my mom over here. So whenever I, ask him, come, let's do this, let's do that. What do you want to read today? Which story? Ma'am, what he's telling me, Amma, when you were in Bangalore, you were working all the time, and even I was working. Now you are taking rest and you are asking me to work. So he thinks that learning for him is a work, and he thinks that because I am not working, like physically, or even I'm not going to school also here, so he thinks that even he should get an off. So how do I deal with this, ma'am? I think most children after this pandemic situation will be going through similar things, I believe.
That's a very good question. Normally, when I take workshop, I never give answer to the teachers when they ask their own children's question, because I prefer if they ask question from the school class children, because mostly it happens like they solve their own child's issues and they never ask children's issue, because teachers, they have never observed children, so they or heard children very seriously, so they can hear this kind of question. But I'll answer you because of the pandemic situation. So see, you are working from home, right? So you should be working from home so seriously at home, not part-time, like part-time you're doing this, the part-time you're doing this. The way you are working from school, similar way you work from home. So children should see that you are a working mother. And that message you need to give very clearly to your family, that this is a work from home. This is not a time for the vacation. Okay. Last time when I have taken writing readiness session, reading readiness session, that time I said, unless we are a role model to the child, unless we read, how child will know that somebody can read? Even my mother is reading. And that day I said, one book you gave to the child, one book you have, and you read and ask child to read. See, children imitate us. If child is seeing, and second thing is, you also don't show that your work is a very, very tiring or frustrating or too much work, or you're not enjoying that work. You should show your work is definitely a pleasurable experience for you, and you have decided to work by yourself. Then the child, for child also is a pleasurable experience to study, and then he will be also enjoying that study. The environment, if you are making, is too hard from working from home, is too much work, we have to do so. School hi acha tha, school mein at least we were. Many times when we are talking all these things, it has an impact on the child. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
So you need to be professional. You need to show that this is a work, but because you enjoy doing it, so you are doing this work.
I think Kiran has some questions. He has raised hands. Kiran, can you unmute and ask the question if you have any? Okay, if anybody wants to ask a question, they can raise their hands. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so there is SK has asked one question.
Yes.
You can see in the chat box.
Yeah. SK, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Rita ma'am can stop the screen sharing also. Then that'll be better.
Okay. Okay. I'll just stop it.
Ruta ma'am, you have some question. You can ask the question. Ruta ma'am.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask that my daughter, when she was in Montessori 3, like for upper KG, she had asked me why is we were going through spellings. She asked me why is U followed by Q in many of the words, and I was really not even marking that. I couldn't give the answer. There are many questions like that which the children ask in junior and senior KG. So, at what level should we upgrade ourselves as a teacher? Because we never know what the children will ask. And this was really a question which even the primary section teachers couldn't answer. Why is the Q followed by U in many of the spellings?
See, this is what we need to understand when I was giving you mathematic readiness. There also, if you heard clearly, there was a time when I say there are certain rules. So for numbers also there are rules. So for that also, alphabets also there are certain rules. And these rules we have to follow. Like for the child, you can say in a game you have a rule that it is played this way and you are playing that way only. So there is a rule in a game. There is a rule in a language. Similarly, there is a rule for the alphabets also. So it goes later on when you become big, you will be seeing there are so many things. Show them the book where the index is there, where alphabetically it is arranged. So here also references are arranged alphabetically. Show them the references. So this is a rule to write like this. So you need to expose the child to other things where this rule is maintained. So maybe this will be giving the child answer. But this is one thing is very important. If the child is asking question, make it a point to answer the child. Whatever question child is asking. If you don't do that time, you just take two days, find out the answer and tell the child, you have asked this question that day. Today I got the answer and this is the answer. Because then this is what is happening. We have something like 75 people in this group, but we have not learned to ask questions. So at least these children, 21st century children, they will be going to the 21st century. So let them ask questions. Let them learn to ask questions.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Moses ma'am, do you have any question to ask?
No, sir. I just
Okay. Definitely, this was very fantastic session. We have very deep responsibilities. We have come to know about deep responsibilities of ours when we talk about school readiness. We were, taking this preschool education on little lighter side, whereas the responsibility lies on a very higher side. So thanks a lot for enlightening us and making aware of our responsibilities as preschool educators. It was very connecting with the NEP today. So thank you once again, ma'am. We are going to have a training program on every Wednesday and Saturday. And I wanted to request Rita ma'am to please enlighten us on next Wednesday as well on different methodologies or pedagogies like Montessori or Playway and all these things. So we will take one thing. What about you? What do you think? What can you just share about that thing, Rita ma'am?
Okay, do you which methodology participants they want? Should I start with the Montessori or should I start with the Steiner?
Ma'am, I think we should start with Montessori because right now we are taken maths. So maths, the material was being shown of Montessori. So that will connect the session and then we can go ahead with that. So
Okay,
Montessori,
so
we will, because Montessori has very different concept. There are people who are doing 3 months correspondence course named as Montessori. When we take their interviews and ask them what is Montessori, they say it's a pedagogy. They don't know who she was or what she was. So it's very important because that is the most prachalit methodology hai, that is nearer to that. So I'll request you to take that thing first. Over to you, Rita ma'am.
What is the date on Wednesday? I hope it is not second.
I second Parag for that, Rita.
Yes, me
I
too.
hope it's
Me
not
too.
second October.
Oh, that will be.
2nd October.
2nd October is
No,
Friday.
it's
Friday, this
7th
Friday.
October.
Saturday is, yeah,
7th,
Saturday is 3rd October.
Saturday is 3rd October, and on 7th Wednesday, I'm requesting
7th
Rita ma'am to
Wednesday.
conduct us on 7th.
7th, yes.
Okay, thank you,
7th
ma'am. Thanks a
Montessori
lot.
Lab.
Wednesday,
Thank you.
7th.
On this Saturday, we are having Kamini Rege ma'am as our faculty. She is going to take on developmental appropriate practices. So we will be very fortunate by her sharing. Over to you, Neelam ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ma'am, thank you very much for enlightening us. Actually, you have cleared my doubts because being as a language teacher, I was teasing my maths teachers and all. What you people have to, only you have to teach the numbers. So what so great deal you all are doing. So it has really, when going through the sessions, I have seen, my God, there are so many concepts that every teacher, math teacher has to go through, and how beautifully you have explained it. I was continuously, means I was writing, whether I should write it or whether I should take a screenshot and listen to you. It was really jumbling, but I really enjoyed the session very much. I loved, because personally, I am really very much scared of numbers. I don't like math, but very interestingly, I listened and I have understood that how I, or as being a teacher, I can also teach numbers or maths to any child. So it was very good session. I loved it very much. I hope all our educators have also have enjoyed it and have got enlightened through this. Thank you, ma'am, very much. And it is be thankful for what you have, you will end up having more. So this is what saying says. So I would like to invite our INCCA Secretary, Urmi ma'am, to present a vote of thanks.
Very true, Neelam ma'am, you are perfectly true, because today Rita ma'am has very, very beautifully and in depth made us understand what school readiness means. And she has explained us the math readiness, which in a very, very simpler way, which all teachers can definitely do in their classrooms, as we all have confirmed with you, ma'am, that we are going to follow the methodology and the very simple ways, which is very easily possible with all our will and with children. So very deep gratitude to Dr. Sonawat ma'am. Thanks a lot.